We stay moving, we stay light, we stay agile.
Yeah.
The conductor's gonna come through, taking tickets. We tell him we're going to the bathroom.
Bathroom,
He gets
okay.
to the back of the train, he's gonna start heading towards the front looking for stragglers.
Sorry, we're the stragglers?
Yeah, by the time he gets to the front, the train's gonna be in the station. We're home free.
This is so stupid.
Man, what's stupid is the corporatization of travel, ensuring that the rich move around the world, propagate their elitist loins while the poor stay cut off from society.
That's great. We can argue Marxism when they're hauling us off to Siberia.
Siberia's in Russia, Dave.
This is ridiculous. Tickets are probably like $12.
That's the principle of the thing. We shouldn't have to pay for train tickets in Poland. This is our country.
No, it's not. It was our country. They kicked us out because they thought we were cheap.
Welcome back. We're here with Jesse Eisenberg. That was a clip from A Real Pain. So, it's a great idea for a movie. This is about two cousins who go back to Poland to visit their sort of ancestral land.
Yeah, exactly. And the cousins have kind of like drifted apart, and Kieran is just brilliant in the movie and plays this guy who's like kind of tortured but charming and brilliant, and I play a character that's like a little more reserved, and it's about kind of us navigating, you know, a relationship at 40 that was peaking at 13.
And it's autobiographical as well, this idea of going back to a place where our families used to be.
Exactly.
And your Aunt Doris is a bit of
Oh, wow, yes.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. So my Aunt Doris was my dad's aunt. She died at like 106, and she was like the closest person in my life since I'm 16, 17 years old. I would visit her every Thursday, even lived with her for a period of time in my 30s, and she was just really like tough on me, and I just need that, I guess, for some, I don't know, masochistic reason or something. She was just like harsh, totally unimpressed with anything I was doing, and I loved her so much, and yeah. That's my love language. Yell at me and I will do anything. But anyway, so I told Doris, I said, she grew up in Poland, and I said, if I ever get into a movie in Europe, I promise you I will go visit that house. And she said, okay. And what I heard was, yes, please do that, but she actually didn't care at all. So, so my wife and I, we went to Poland, we took this 2-week journey, we found this house. I found this, it's a 3-story apartment building in this small village. And I took the picture for her, flew back the next day to New York, went to Kinko's, blew the thing up, a matte finish or whatever the nice finish is at Kinko's. And then I showed her the picture and she went, oh yeah, I think that was it. And that was it. So
it's funny, I think with this idea of ancestral homes, you almost expect that it'll have a glow to it. But of course,
exactly.
It's just a physical place that continues to be a physical place that means something to someone else.
That's precisely it, and that's kind of like the irony of this movie, is that these characters are going to try to experience like something revelatory and profound, and what they're finding are just things that don't include them anymore. And so they're left with more questions than answers about where they belong and where they came from.
You were not writing this idea originally. You saw a pop-up ad that actually directed you towards this idea.
Yeah, exactly. This movie I was 30 pages into the script, and it took place in Mongolia, because I'd been to Mongolia and I wanted to shoot in Mongolia. I thought it'd be fascinating. And I just couldn't figure out where the script was going, and then an ad popped up online that said Auschwitz tours, and then in parentheses, with lunch. And it was just like I had been handed like the weirdest gift you could possibly get. And because it's so weird, because essentially tragedy tourism can be really wonderful, that people can go back and look. I've been to the Rwandan Genocide Museum and the Cambodian killing fields, and it can be really wonderful and open you up to great empathy and understanding about current tragedies and traumas. But it's also awkward because you're trying to experience all the same kind of like suburban creature comforts that you're used to while, like eating like a nice lunch on an air-conditioned bus while you're waiting outside Auschwitz. And it's like, what's the best way to do that? And there's no great way.
Right.
And so the movie kind of touches on that and is a bit of a commentary on the awkward middle-class traveling to horrific sites.
You mentioned that Kieran is great in this. You met him the first time you were auditioning to be in a film together, but you already had the part.
That's right. So the first time I met Kieran, I actually did not remember until he reminded me like a few weeks ago on a press thing. But basically, I was doing this movie Adventureland, and Kieran was coming in to audition for a part. And so arguably, I was the one that should have been in like the comfortable position there, because I was already cast, And Kieran's character was a character who's like supposed to punch me in the balls at every 5 minutes. And he did that in the scene, and then he grabbed my breasts and he squeezed and turned them. And the director said, oh, stop, oh, stop. And Kieran didn't hear, and so he just was squeezing them. And what was amazing was I was just thinking, this guy is a genius, because he was so comfortable in his own skin. He was so good, too, as an actor. He was so good and so brazen to do that in an audition. And so when I was thinking about who to cast in this movie, somebody brought him up to me, and I was like unconsciously realizing that guy is perfect, and I didn't realize that why he was perfect is because he has tortured me in the past.
Yeah. He had spoke your love language. And
Yes, exactly.
He wanted to get back in there.
The weight of my heart is through my nipples. Yeah.
It's a fantastic film. People are saying wonderful things about it, and it's just so lovely to see you again. Thank you for coming,
Thank
man.
you, sir. Thank you so much.
Jesse Eisenberg, A Real Pain opens in theaters Friday. We'll be right back with Mika Brzezinski.